Hey, good morning to everyone. Apologize for being a couple of minutes late in getting started. We'll move on now. This is the January meeting of the Wilson County Board of Zoning Appeals. We appreciate everyone coming out. Do we have anyone on our agenda this morning who has a case that they would like to withdraw or possibly defer to another meeting? And if we do not, then the agenda will stand as advertised. Let everyone know that we have a court recorder here with us this morning that's taking a transcript of our proceedings. That court recorder is provided at the expense of Wilson County. If you would like a transcript of a particular case, you're certainly welcome to obtain one, and to do so you would see the court recorder at the conclusion of our meeting this morning, and that transcript, of course, would be at your expense. Just a reminder to everyone, if you would please, to silence your cell phones. When the case is called, we'll let the applicant come to the podium and make any statement to the board they wish to make. And then after the applicants had the opportunity to make a statement, we'll give opportunity to anyone else who wishes to make a statement in front of the board regarding the case, whether it be in favor of or in opposition to. If you do plan to speak this morning in front of the board, you need to be sworn in. So if you do intend to speak at this time, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in front of this board to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. The staff has made recommendations to the board in regard to each case, and we will consider those recommendations as we render our decision. Our proceedings this morning, if you care to follow them after or review anything the board did or said, you can do so on Wilson County TV. The meeting will be posted on that platform on the YouTube streaming service, and it's normally available a couple of 3 hours after the meeting. Each time we call a case, we will have a public hearing, applicant and anyone else that wishes to speak in regard to that case. But the state requires us to have a general public comment period. This isn't regarding any particular case on our agenda. This is a general comment period if you'd like to make any comments to the board in a general fashion. So at this point in time, do we have anyone who wishes to address the board during the general public comment period? And seeing none, the public comment will be closed. Turning to members of the board, earlier this month or end of last month, you were sent the minutes from our December meeting. You've had an opportunity to go over those. Do we have any corrections to our minute from the month of December? And if not, do we hear a motion we approve December's minutes?
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve December's minutes. Do I have a second? I'll second. And all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposition vote no, and the ayes have it. Okay. So, getting into the agenda. Our first case this morning is case 4368. Noel Harding is requesting a variance of 5 feet from the setback requirement of 8 feet between structures. The existing house is 3 feet from the existing detached garage. The variance will allow the applicant to build a pole barn that will meet all setback requirements. The property is located at 116 Clark Drive, Lot 21 on Poplar Ridge. Tax map 118H, Group B, parcel 10.00, zoned R1 residential, contains 3 acres. We'll get staff recommendations now on 4368.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 5 feet from the setback requirement of 8 feet between structures. This is not an older tract of record, with the lot being created in October of 1986. Therefore, given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval of the variance. Staff will note that the structures on the property are existing, and the proposed pole barn is going to meet all minimum setbacks. So this variance is for 2 existing structures on the property.
Okay, who's here to represent 4368 Harding?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's myself here, and I'm just trying to get, like I said,
I forgot to mention to y'all, I'm sorry, if you could come to the podium, if you would give us your name and address, please.
okay, Noel Harding, 116 Clark Drive, Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Now, go ahead, Mr. Harding.
Okay, yeah, just trying to get a simple building permit for this pole barns. Nothing special about it, just a parking area for my vehicles. And basically, I've got the affidavit for the floodplain and the septic letter too, both here with me. And just trying to get a building permit to have this structure built.
This, in this photograph that's being passed around, the existing garage, is that what the variance is for? The existing garage?
The existing
So
structure.
he doesn't need a permit for what he's trying to build. He needs a permit to get the lot into compliance.
He needs a variance to get the lot into compliance. He's coming before the board because he's wanting to build a new structure that does meet setbacks.
Okay.
But the variance is for existing
Just to
structure.
clear up an old infraction.
Yes.
I got you. Okay. Questions from the board for the applicant?
On your site plan here, looks like you've already got two fairly large, I don't know, I shouldn't say fairly, like two garages or whatever, and this pole barn would be your third garage. But it's all for your personal stuff?
Yes, correct.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Yes, sir.
No businesses or anything like that?
No, I mean, I'm just a single man with just a little small business. I've got a dump truck business is what it is, just my own dump truck. I'm just one little small business work for myself. That's all it is. And there's nothing that I'm planning on making a commercial area or nothing like that. It's just all residential and just the area just where I can park my vehicles out of the weather. It's basically what I'm doing.
But you only have one dump truck?
Yeah, just a dump truck,
And
yeah.
that's not in front of us today?
No.
Just to let you know?
Yeah.
That might or might not be okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Other questions from the board? If not, does anyone else wish to address 4368? Mr. Harding? Okay, then we'll close public comment on 4368 and turn to the board for a motion or discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance of 5 feet.
I have a motion to approve the variance as requested. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any discussion? And if not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next case is case 4369, Nashville Speedway, requesting year-round auto sales located at 400 Victory Lane Drive, parcel 141-026.00. Its zoning is C4, planned commercial, 518.06 acres. We get staff recommendations now on 4369.
All right. Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a use variance to have year-round auto sales. Auto sales are not a listed use in the approved master plan for this property. In talks with the applicant, staff was informed that while the request is for year-round auto sales, the event will only be held once a year. According to the submitted business plan, which you all have in your packet, the event is estimated to last 4 days and be held in the month of September. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval, but sees little adverse effect if granted. If approved, staff recommends stipulations to be put in place to ensure all vehicles, activities, and parking related to the event remain entirely on the super speedway property, and the vehicle auction is held within the track's infield. In the submitted business plan, the applicant has committed to several event management and public safety measures, including coordination with local police and emergency services, traffic and parking management, crowd control and event security, and compliance with fire safety and emergency access. If approved, staff urges the business plan and its commitments to public safety and event guidelines to be made part of the approval. Staff would also recommend that if approved, the request be approved for a limited amount of time as to not make this a permanent use on the property. If it were to come a more permanent use on the property, the master plan would need to be amended to go before the county commission, as this would be the proper channel for uses in a C4 zone district.
Okay, who's here to represent 4369 Nashville Speedway? Yes, sir.
Austin Hahn with the National Superspeedway.
And what would you like to tell the board, sir?
Much of what was just repeated, we, as you all know, at the Speedway, we add many events throughout the year. We're in the process of planning a 4-day automotive event with a vehicle auction piece to that. In order to operate a vehicle auction, we first need to apply for a Tennessee dealer's license and a Tennessee auction license. As part of that process, the property in which those auctions on need to be zoned for year-round auto sales, which is the nature of our request today. Really want to state in this that the auction will only occur over a 4-day period, and that the property will not year-round operate as a auto dealership, storage yard, or anything with day-to-day auto sales. If I could also state that this event is expected to draw close to 20,000 people and generate roughly $25 million in auto sales, coming to around about $1 million in estimated sales tax for the community. Also worth stating too, we operate a NASCAR weekend and IndyCar weekend in many events throughout the year and do these safely in accordance with all of our guidelines and standards, and work with local community, EMS, fire, and all their groups to ensure a safe event for our fans and those in the community.
Okay. Questions from the board for the applicant?
This event is one time a year. You say 4 days. Is that 4 days including hauling the cars in and hauling the cars out?
Most of the cars will come in probably a little bit earlier, but they will leave pretty generally immediately after and will not be stored in like a month leading up to or weeks leading up to.
No cars that's not runnable that can run on their own?
No, the cars will run on their own. Okay. Yeah, they are considered to be nicer vehicles, yes. Not broken down vehicles that need replacements or engines or anything like that.
So you say a month ought to take care of the time frame to haul them in and haul them out?
I believe it'll probably be the week beforehand. They will probably likely, if the event runs from a Wednesday to like a Saturday, they will probably most likely come in that Monday. Yeah.
Now, your application is for year-round sales. That's what's in front of us this morning.
I can address that a little bit. And the reason it's for year-round is because what they're asking for the Tennessee dealerships auction, it has to be stated that it's approved for year-round auto sales. So that's the reason it's listed as year-round as opposed to just a 1-month time frame, because if we approved it for a 1-month time frame, our zoning confirmation letter that we issued to them is stating that it's allowed auto sales in a 1-month period, and that's not going to satisfy the auto auction.
So a year-round auto sales was advertised. That's what's in front of us then?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They're putting, they're speaking testimony that their event is only going to last 4 days in the month of September, but the request is for year-round to accommodate the Tennessee dealership license requirements.
So I've got a quick question about that. So moving forward in the future, what is said here under sworn testimony about one event a year, does that supersede having a license to operate year-round? Which takes precedent moving forward?
If you can take his testimony that they're only going to have it, but you're taking his testimony, if the property sells, which I don't believe the super speedway is going to, but if it sells and it has a year-round auto dealership auction, the next applicant is not under sworn testimony.
And this board, the proper language, restrict it with approval that it only operates 1 week out of the year moving forward.
You can, but then ours,
Conflict of year-round approval.
you can approve it for a 1-month period, but that's what our zoning confirmation letter is going to state that we issue to them, and I don't believe that's going to satisfy their requirement.
Because they were being issued a letter.
I understand it all. I'm just trying to think, how do we clean it up moving forward?
Well, that's the issue, is they have been doing this already.
Right.
Okay, and they have been getting a letter from the zoning office for a specific time frame, and now the state's telling them that's not going to work. So to your question, I don't think you can.
Grant a year round with restrictions that they only operate 1 month out of the year.
And satisfy the state. I don't think you can, correct?
That's my knowledge of the issue, yes, sir.
I'm interested, you mentioned sales tax, like 20 million, 25 million, something like that. Where do you get that number?
It was 25 million in gross sales for
Gross sales.
the automotive ones.
But I thought they were wholesale.
No, they're vehicles that people will bring to be auctioned.
Okay, so it's not wholesale.
It's not wholesale
And
vehicles.
if you get $25 million in revenue, you're going to tax all that in sales tax.
The number also incorporates the number of people that would be coming, paying for the event, coming to tickets, staying in hotels on the tax side.
Okay. And Mr. Lawless, you state this is currently, as we stand now, the area around the racetrack is not currently approved for this type of use based on its master plan.
No, and the master plan was a part of your all's packet, and the uses that are allowed are on the very far left-hand side of that document. But auto sales was not a use in that original master plan. And it was not a use listed in the 2001 version or the amended 2020 version when they amended it to add the warehousing that you see out there today.
Gotcha.
But if this is going to become a permanent event, I've talked with the applicant, it would need to go to a master plan amendment and go back to county commission.
Well, let me ask this question then. If this is what they want to do, should they not rather had gone through the planning commission and amended the master plan?
That is the process of the permit. I believe this is the first time for this event, so I think it's a trial for them at this point to see if it holds water at work. They've not had the auto auction, to my knowledge, on the site. They've had other monthly events. But those were all race oriented, to my knowledge. When I issue monthly event letters for, I issue letters for temporary. They're called CALs, which are like cellular service boosters for 1 month race events. I issue letters to have those on site for a 1 month period. But to my knowledge, I don't know if they've had the auction on the site.
We have not had the auction before.
I know they have like the coffee cup stuff, but that's all race oriented.
Got you. Okay. Does the board have any other questions for the applicant?
I want to ask Mike.
Yes.
Okay, and just to kind of clear me up.
Yes.
It says year-round, but we can legally limit them to one event a year, and,
Not if you approve it for year round.
okay.
What about their sworn testimony? They're only going to do one event a year. You or we or the county cannot hold them to that going forward?
What are we gonna do? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
We're gonna try to bring them back in here?
If we were to prove it based on the testimony given, they're going to have one event a year. 2 years from now, they have 5 events. Can you or the county hold them liable for that?
I guess, yes, we could make that effort, but then I'm gonna be met with the defense. You approved it for you.
So if I could say, you are correct in that. We want to have one event a year. Many of the promoters we work with, they do, before committing many of the things that go through this, would like to see how one of these goes. And I think if there was one event per year, we would come back to you to seek a longer term solution for that to make that more of a permanent event year round.
What would, if they approve or if we do like we do fireworks sales and approve this for a year and the letter goes out and says you've got approval for a year, but you come back next year for further approval?
It's also my recommendation of the approval that you approve it for a finite period of time.
I wouldn't see any issue with that. It is as far as I'm concerned, it is a temporary use permit. You're not granting this for ultimate, like you said, we'd have to go back and make that permanent effort to do that.
Yes, sir.
We'd still be approving a use that's not allowed in the planned development area when the racetrack was approved, correct?
Yeah. You're granting a variance, but this way you're granting it for a year for one time, and if they have 10 events, when they come back a year from now, you can deal with it.
To clarify, we have multiple automotive events throughout the year. We're asking for one auction event throughout the year.
You have multiple auto events at the racetrack.
Yes, automotive events, yes. I mean, we do a cars and coffee, we do ride and drives to schools all the time. It's within our business purpose that we are.
I thought y'all had been, out there more than, before. I didn't think this was a first-time thing.
Yes, that was the intention of reopening the Speedway, to add multiple events throughout the year. We have national groups coming through, car shows, all sorts of different things, public, private. We obviously, to maximize our business, can't just solely rely on the NASCAR weekend. We have to host events throughout the year too.
Yeah, that's why, I feel strongly that the public should have as many opportunities to weigh in on large decisions as they possibly can. And that's why it bothers me that you're here, and yes, we have the authority, and we can make you well if the board chooses to. But I wonder if it's not the correct path to go through the Planning Commission, that public hearing process, and then on to the County Commission and that public hearing process, to make sure that everyone that might be affected has the opportunity to be heard, because this needs to be this document, or the document that goes with it, needs to be amended, in my mind, to reflect all of the things that you're wanting to do out there now.
What are all of those things?
All of the things you just mentioned. The ones that you've been having to come up here and get these single shot letters for.
As far as I've understood, I don't believe we need additional approval to host a car show or a driving school or utilize our track for how it's already approved.
Yeah, I don't know that we've aired that or not.
Well, yeah, we on those issues that have come up, it's motorsports complex and other similar entertainment uses. When they're utilizing the track for cars and coffee, where they allow people to go around the track, that's considered another entertainment venue to the Speedway. Now, what they're seeking today is the auto sales part, which is not listed.
So you're saying what they've been doing falls within the scope of what the Speedway is zoned for?
Yes, sir. They've not violated any of their uses.
Okay.
Since we haven't, seen an extensive list, I don't know that we can make that statement.
Well, yeah, to my knowledge, they've not violated, but I couldn't tell you every event they have out there.
Okay. All right. Does the board have any more questions? Okay. If not, let's see if anyone else would like to speak to the 4369 case Nashville Speedway.
My name is Michael Suranowski, live at 4618 McCrary Road. I do have concerns where the houses they just built down there, McCrary, the 15 houses down there, they've all just been finished in the last year or two. We've been getting a lot of traffic. My concerns is, are they planning on building over there in that one area? Are they going to be doing any more blasting? I mean, we've already been getting a ton of blasting across McCrary Road there where they're building the warehouses. But
Are you asking if the Speedway is doing any more building?
well, over there in the area next to my lot, my house is right there. I would be right there next to the dome, I guess, which is the treatment plant at the very corner. That's my property line. So
I don't have any master plan.
I mean, are they wanting to do any tearing down building or anything like that, or?
I can answer a little bit of
Use.
that.
There's not a proposal here for a building.
Okay, just for the use.
Now, just so you're aware, that area on the west and north side of the racetrack has 5 large development tracks that go back to the original approval.
They do.
30 years ago.
Okay.
And those tracks do have the same development rights as what you've seen on the other side of the racetrack. I mean, if you want to stop by my office after the meeting or anything, I can walk you through like people I've talked to about those tracks. But at present, no, there's no development being proposed today.
Okay. Yeah, that was a lot of my concerns because, they've been building a lot around there, and I'm just wanting to watch out for flooding and cracks in the house and things like that. So, I didn't realize it was just 4 days out of the year. I'm reading here that it says year round. I'm thinking of the auto auction off of 40 over here. So that's kind of where I'm at. I was not clarified that it was 4 days out of the year. So, If it's just 4 days out of the year, I probably would not have a big issue, and if they're not going to be doing any building or.
We're not addressing buildings.
Okay, okay.
I have a quick question. I don't live in that area. I don't live in that area. Obviously, you do. Events that are currently going on out there, are they very negative to your quality of life? I mean, that's not in front of us. I'm just asking you that.
Let's see.
Events that are going on, not necessarily warehouses and
We're closing
buildings.
coffee. Right now, they got McCreary Road closed. McCreary hits the crows right now. But anyway, when it's open, cars fly by the road doing 60 miles an hour. You know, you'd have to have a cop sitting there all the time to slow them down.
Mainly when events are going on at the
Yeah,
track. Okay.
like cars and coffee. Now, when you have the race in the middle of the summer, NASCAR race, Uber, people are walking. I mean, hundreds of people are walking up and down that road, and it's a dreadlock of traffic. You know,
And that's not in front of us. I just wanted to.
yeah, I understand it. Yes,
Somebody
and
that lives
it's just
right beside
it's just
us.
that time of year. You know, I mean, like I can deal with it 3 days out of the year. You know, but I did want it year round. That's where I'm coming to speak.
Along those lines, I'm curious. I've been told that some of the folks out there, you know, it's just that during the race or during high volume events, it just gets so bad they just lock up their house and leave.
That's true.
That's true.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
My name is Patty
Yes.
Saranowski, and I live at the same address. I understand the 4 days. That was a relief for me to hear that. I thought it was a year-round situation. But when he did mention there would be like 20, how many thousands of cars that are going to be coming in and out, and they're not going to be brought in, they're going to be thrown in. So that will be.
I don't know that he mentioned a number, but I'm sure there's a considerable amount.
He mentioned 20,000 people is what I wrote down. I don't know how many cars he mentioned, but I mentioned 20,000. It's what I wrote down.
That is something that we deal with the traffic. We have a very difficult time with the cars and coffee, no, other than the speed of the cars that come through our neighborhood. Very, very fast. But during, there was one event, and I can't remember the name of the event, where they went to different racetracks in Tennessee, I believe, and the traffic there was deadlocked for all the way down to Love's Truck Stop, and I couldn't even get out of my driveway or come home. My mother was coming over that day, and she couldn't even get to my house. I've not seen that event since, but those things really are a problem, I will say. Cars and coffee, not so much except for the speed. That's the problem that we have.
So Cars and Coffee is a smaller local type event where people bring their cars on Saturday morning or whenever to
First Saturday.
okay, and they display them and have a community event.
And that's not a problem. We have voiced our complaints about that. But I just know that 4-day event, I'm thankful for that. But I'm also concerned about the traffic. If there was a way that we could shut down just our little area and utilize the 4-lane and the nice exit that's there for the speedway, I would be fine with that. But if McCrary Road's not going to be shut down, that will be a problem for us, I'm sure.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Anyone else wish to speak to 4369 Nashville Speedway? Yes, ma'am.
Cindy Burton, live at 3355 Gwen Road, and if they're getting rezoned for commercial C4, don't that include a lot of other things?
This is a C4 master plan, I
This is
believe.
a specific use. This is not a rezoning.
Okay,
This is-
I thought it was going to be a rezoning because there's a whole lot of other.
No, this is a very specific use, correct?
No, there is a rezoning for a couple parcels next to this on tomorrow's agenda. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. There is a rezoning request in this area, but that's Planning Commission agenda.
Okay.
This is just for the use.
Let's be clear. This application for year-round auto sales is for this entire highlighted track, correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir. That is the parcel the Speedway is on.
The whole 500 acres.
Yes, sir. It would allow them to have, like in their business plan, the 20,000 people, all the parking for that needs to be on that highlighted track.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, excuse me, go ahead.
Okay. Well, no, because the other rezoning thing, they could put in a theme park if they wanted to, so that was my concern. But no, your traffic problem, last race, I wasn't even allowed to go home. The sheriff's department stopped me and told me I couldn't turn, I couldn't go home. So,
Yeah, I've heard people mention they couldn't get to and from their homes.
yes, yeah, my next door neighbors, they wouldn't allow them to go home either. I had to drive 20 miles out of the way just to get home with the trailer. So,
And how close were you when you got turned around?
well, they wouldn't let me turn to go in front of the speedway. But I was only 2 miles from home, and I had to go 20 miles around just to get back home with the trailer down the little roads, and my husband too. So,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak to 4369 Nashville Speedway? Last chance. Yes, sir.
Just giving everybody else the opportunity to speak that wanted to. Thank you, gentlemen. Haskell Evans, 5925 Franklin Road, and Commissioner for District 12, which includes this area in question here. Based on the number of calls that I received, then I was expecting a larger turnout this morning, but I know that several were out of town and couldn't be here today, but they did ask me to air their opinion and concerns. This area does have, these residents do have a lot of concerns about this proposal. Especially the residents on Gwynn Road and Vesta Road, they've dealt with a lot over the last 25 years since it's been there. You've heard about the traffic concerns. I know in the last few years, the county sheriff's office has done a good job of directing traffic and trying to keep race traffic off of McCrary and Gwynn Road. Of course, that sounds like that has some unintended consequences too, because folks that live there can't get home without going a long way out of the way. With the smaller events, though, based on the number of calls I get about that, they don't have traffic control out there for those. And I think that the Cars and Coffee is one that I hear about quite a bit, and some of the other smaller ones. Plus, whenever they do have the sheriff's office out there, they do have it out there, the day of the event, maybe the day before the event. But a lot of these people are coming in 4 or 5 days ahead of time. So if you've got people bringing in cars, or if you've got car haulers coming in 4 or 5 days ahead of time, or a month ahead of time, or whatever have you, they're just going to be there. There's not going to be any police presence to do that, because the sheriff is going to tell me, I can't be there all the time. And they can't. They got a whole county that they have to be in. I know I've sat through a lot of y'all's meetings, and a lot of what comes up repeatedly is precedent. Setting precedent. And once you say yes the first time, you have set precedent. And it's awfully hard to come back and say no to a second request or a third request or a similar request. I would just ask that y'all not approve this request and not set that precedent to start with. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Come forward, please. Why don't you give us your name and address, please?
Wanda Tupas at 3595 Gwynn Road. And this is my husband, Henry. I was thinking it was rezoning of some of the roads, because we've seen some other rezoning down the road, but I understand it's not changing, it's just what's happening on the property. I do have a concern where if it's totally approved for the year, then I think you're fighting a battle once you've given the permission. We do get a lot of traffic, and especially with the little cars that go around, and they go pretty fast down the road, and we've got a lot of curves.
Henry Tupas, same address, 3595 Gwen Road. On the map there, if you look at the Bob Harmon Drive, we're just off to the left of the B. That's us, right on Gwen Road. There's a lot of traffic, and for some reason, we get a lot of big semis coming down. I don't quite understand why, but we seem to get that. As far as the car traffic, it's not so bad. My question, though, on this particular situation is, how many cars are you talking about bringing in and selling? You said $25 million worth of sales in 4 days? That's a lot of cars.
Let's ask that question. How many cars do you average?
I can't give you a direct amount, but I can state that these cars are very expensive cars, so when you look at the value.
That's okay. You don't have a number, that's fine. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Like to collector cars.
Oh,
We would hope to get, obviously, a good amount, but they're usually hauled in. It's not like these folks are driving them in. Personally there, they usually come on trailers where they have multiple cars on there. They roll to the auction block and they roll right now.
okay.
All right.
The significant value in them comes from that they are.
Okay. That's enough, okay? Now, go ahead, y'all.
And the other one is, right now, let's see, Vesta Road between McCrary Road between Vesta and Gwynn. There's a bridge there, and that whole thing is blocked off, so nobody can get through there, which is fine. I mean, they're up doing something. I don't know what they're doing.
Replacing that bridge, I believe.
Pardon?
I think they're replacing that bridge.
Are they? That's nice, because that's really, really needed. But anyway, as far as traffic goes, and me personally, other than the big semis coming through, it's not so bad.
There's a big semi get down Gwen Road. This is plain.
Yeah, exactly right.
How does he go in any of the roads up there in the Glade?
Well, that's true.
I've got a better, why do semis go down there? Are they lost or is that actually,
Their GPSs are sending them the wrong way.
I think that is part of it.
Yeah.
and I understand that's not a part of what's going here, but my question is, why do semis go down those back?
I don't know. But every day there's at least one, and sometimes more than one, and sometimes car haulers.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sometimes they do have the car haulers.
Yeah. So it's, so you do have that problem, but other than that, and I don't know how to address that. But
I don't know. I don't know where this. Is there adequate signage saying, this is not the way you get to the speedway? This is, no semis, no track. Is there adequate signs so people can find the speedway without coming through your community?
Well, it's not so much from the west. It's I'm seeing a lot of guys coming on Gwen Road from the east, so they're getting on somewhere. Over there, and I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
If you consider the volume of semis that move around that area, the fact that you have one or two a day, who knows how they get there?
Exactly. But it's not like they're going this way and then turn around and coming back.
There's no telling how they get there.
They were going across that little bridge a lot, too. There is a small sign when you come on to Gwen that says local deliveries only for the big trucks, but I don't think there's any signage about the speedway.
All right.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, there is no sign that says, if you're going to the speedway, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah. All right,
or something. I don't know what.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Last call. I think everybody's pretty much. You have something to add we haven't heard?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a couple of questions of him.
Okay. Go ahead.
I totally appreciate everyone's concerns on the traffic. As a entertainment venue, we want to make the best experience for our guests, and traffic is obviously a part of that. Understand that there are folks in the community who obviously want to just live in their houses and go about that. The Speedway is obviously there, and we're conducting that business. So I think we're happy to always listen to y'all's concerns and have more conversations about that to ensure that's the best process for you guys.
So do you represent the Speedway or the auction company?
I represent the Speedway, sir.
And y'all own the Speedway at this point?
That's correct.
So Dover Downs doesn't own it anymore?
Dover does not own it. It's owned by Speedway Motorsports.
I got you. Okay. So, excuse me, Howard, I let it in. But, so 25, 6 years that thing's been down there. These people have been through trauma. Not only these that are here, but all these people that talk to the commissioner and our friends and neighbors that live down there, they have been traumatized by some of what goes on down there. They can't get to their home. They can't get away from their home. They have a lot of traffic around in the area, and you may have some participation from sheriff and other folks on the day of your event or a day or two before or after, as was mentioned. But overall, it's not been a pleasant experience for the community by any means. So, be aware, you may go home today or tomorrow, whenever, and you probably don't have to deal with this type of thing. But this community out there has been significantly traumatized by many of the events that went on. As I mentioned a while ago, we've got people out there that just have to lock their home and leave because they can't get back and forth to their home. Denying people's access to their residence is a major concern.
Sir, as it relates to this issue, and
yes, it does relate to this issue.
That's what I'm speaking to, is that I do not foresee that being an instance. I think you're referring to probably NASCAR weekend and our larger event weekends, which are obviously a massive undergoing. And I think we could sit here and also make that commitment to work with you all. I don't want anyone to have to leave their
You'll forgive me, but I heard it 25 years ago. I heard it over and over again, what the commitments that were made. And frankly, I just don't see that any of them have been addressed.
As it relates to this one, we will continue to work with law enforcement and groups to ensure a smooth event that's happening on the property.
Howard, you had a question? Howard.
Well, yeah, Howard, go ahead. I've got one too. Go ahead.
I got a couple of questions about the specific event. It looks like what you said, is this is going to be something like a Barrett Jackson that people watch on TV? I've watched it on TV.
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as the facilities, are you planning on building a stage, using tents? You've got to have some way to display vehicles. What are your intention on doing in the area?
The main one will be, at the moment, is planned to have a larger tent, but as we discussed, all of those activities will happen inside the inner bowl of the Speedway on the infield.
So you'll use some of the existing facilities inside the Speedway itself?
Yes.
Okay, and another thing, in what the bigger business overview, it does state in here that it will be well managed, and security traffic would also be managed. So, I mean, you've got in your plan that's what it says, but what happens, like it's been testified to, you don't know how many people's going to show up. Just like NASCAR. I mean, I go to a lot of NASCAR races myself. They don't know if you're going to be 90% people or 125%, overflow. You just don't know. How would you know how many people are going to attend?
We work very closely with all of our event promoters to gauge attendance 3 months out, 1 month out, 1 week out, 3 days out. And if there are instances, and we have had those instances where we feel like we need more police or need more medical or need any sort of operational support that would require to match that attendance, we go out and get that in advance.
But the day of the event, or one of the days of the event, I can personally walk up and buy a ticket and get in.
You could, yes, sir.
Okay. So you don't know how many's going to show. That's my point.
In we see in NASCAR, most of our sales do happen online, which allows us to predict that and go a little far in advance. I do want to make a clarifying note on that 20,000. That's 20,000 over the course of the 4-day event. It isn't 20,000 people coming on one day. In reference to that, our NASCAR weekends are closer to between 50 and 70,000 people.
But you can't say just 20,000. It could be more.
It could be more, could be less too.
I'd say more. Talking about classic cars, and I watched it, I'd say more.
I think we would hope to have a successful event that comes with that. But like I said, that's not 20,000 people in a day. We're not anticipating that. Based on what we talked with other shows about, if we did that, that would be one of their largest shows in the country, and I don't believe that for a first-year event will probably be the case.
Harry, you had a question?
Well, I think you just answered it, but anyway, I was going to ask the comparison people-wise to this event to a NASCAR event. You said this one's at 20 and NASCAR would be somewhere around 70. Is that
for the weekend? Yes.
Yeah. So this would be.
It is not a NASCAR
for the audience and the people that live there. This you're saying roughly it would be maybe a third the size of a NASCAR.
Yeah.
Volume-wise.
In reference to a NASCAR, we're occupating the grandstands to seat people. This would not be a ticketed seating event where there may be some seating sections within that auction tent, but it's not like we're going to build a large scale, 20,000 person grandstand or use that piece of it to conduct that.
And I've just got one other comment, and I'll be done. Regardless of what happens here today, I would highly suggest that you, like Mr. Thompson said, that you try to work with the community and the neighborhood a little better about some signs or something or another. I understand maybe you've got nothing to do with tractor trailer trucks going down Gwen Road, but I mean, you know, on big event days, you know, these people have a right to be able to get to their house and get in and out of there and not get hung up somewhere or another. They just, I mean, you know, somehow or another do better about that in the future, somehow.
We say it all the time. We need to be better in all aspects of what we do, and we continue to want to do that.
All right. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna go back a little bit on the stuff that Chairman Thompson said. I do live out there. I was very instrumental in getting the racetrack out there, involved with it. Those people out there on McCreary Road, Vesta, Gwen, and all that they've endured so much out there. One of the reasons why there's so much problem out there right now is because they are enduring warehouses being built right in their front doors. There's a bridge out. There's a bridge out on Stewart's Ferry. There's semis. There is signage everywhere all over Stewart's Ferry, all over where the racetrack is at Gwen, at Vesta. No semis except for local delivery. Do they pay any attention to these? None. I endure them on my road, which is Underwood, very small roads. McCreary Road's not any bigger. They have everything on it, just like you're wanting to put this on it. You're not going to widen the road. So they're enduring all this traffic again, not being able to get to their home. The Sheriff's Department has done all they can do to take care of this traffic out there. They can't do anymore. They do a good job, but they can't do anymore than what they're doing. I don't see how that we can allow these folks out there on Vesta, McCreary, any of these roads out there to endure any more than what they're already taking. They've got roads down. They are shut down. They have to go a long way out of their way right now because of the warehouses that are being built out there right now. And they're not going to stop. They're going to continue on that road.
You know, the root cause of all that this community deals with out in the south part of the county is the racetrack.
Yes, sir.
The root cause. Those warehouses and all that traffic that comes with them would not be there if it weren't for the racetrack.
I agree.
The racetrack insisted on having the sewer brought into a rural area of the county, and as a result, then, you know, all the other ancillary uses have followed, you know, the racetrack out there, and it's been very difficult on the community. And there's a whole lot of things we can't do anything about. Regulatory restrictions and whatnot prevent us from doing anything about some of the issues that face the community. But now this is one issue we can do something about. We don't have to allow this. It's not mandatory.
I understand that. That's obviously being here and wanting your support for that. I can't speak to the warehouse piece of it. We simply operate the track on that side of things. I can say that many of our events that I would take away from the NASCAR side of things, we do bring traffic down Dale Earnhardt, which is, I don't believe it's labeled there, but it's the one off of Bill France right there, and Sterling Martin to enter and exit them through to keep that away from that. I think we can make a continued commit for that. I'm open to your ideas and anything that you think there may be done to do that better. But I also will say that I understand the difficulty in some of that and being located towards a racetrack, but we do a significant impact to the community in terms of business. We work with the tourism department here to generate tourism tax and all those different things. And we also are a place of community for a lot of people, not only in other states, but in Tennessee, to bring their automotive vehicles here and to celebrate and bring family together and enjoy those times that they have at the track.
That doesn't mean a lot to a person that can't get to their house.
I understand.
I mean, you asked to come back up here.
Yes, and I was answering some of the questions, so I understand that. Like I said, we're always open to making that better and the process better, and I'm all open to ideas from all parties on the enforcement side to make that better and find a solution to it. I feel pretty good that we can. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
One comment, and I won't prolong this, but I think the position we're in today with the limited power we have, and I think it'll benefit you. I think, and I can put this in motion later, but you're just a victim of what's been going on all these years. I think a 4-day event wouldn't be a huge deal, but you see all these traffic issues these people have, and maybe you're just a victim of that happening over the years. But this needs to go, in my opinion, feelings to the county commission, let them clean this up, traffic control, roads, how people get in and out. And I would suggest you come up with a plan on how to get people in and out with the least disturbance to that neighborhood. And it's been a long time since I've been out there. I used to volunteer for school to work the racetrack. I'm so glad that's over with. But anyway, there's a new road that went from, 231 to the interstate. Is that utilized some way? And you don't have to go into long discussion, but.
Can you reference which one that is?
Okay. My suggestion is.
What are you talking about, 450?
452, the 5-lane section.
I just think this is bigger than what we are here at this group, and it needs to go to the county commission, let them look at the traffic. Y'all look at what plans you've got to get people in and out with least disturbance, and I think that's the direction we need to go.
All right. If no one else has any questions for the applicant or anyone else that hasn't, yes, sir.
Could I add something?
Absolutely.
Haskell, speaking 925 Franklin Road. This is from the original C4 application many, many years ago. I don't have the actual date on this, but just something of interest under the Section 5 objectives. The applicant foresees community involvement here and will seek opportunities to enhance the community, to provide a resource for the community, and to minimize impacts. Now, based on his definition of community, maybe that was a little bit different than what we were thinking at the time, because it's definitely not the community around that. It may be the community that comes in from all over to the racetrack, but the consensus with the community in the area, the geographical community, that hasn't been occurring.
Understood. Anyone else? We're not in the habit of letting people come back twice, so if you have something new, brand new, we haven't heard it before, you can come state it, but we're not in the habit of having multiple testimony. Thank you. All right. I'm going to close the public hearing in regard to 4369 Speedway and turn to the board for a motion or further discussion.
I'd like to make a motion based on the testimony in our county commissioner, Haskell Evans, that this be denied.
I'll second, and I want to offer an amendment that we also add that our denial is based on our staff recommendations.
Yes.
You okay with that? All right. We have a motion, we have a second, now discussion. And Mr. Crockett, I think what you mentioned is well-founded, and I think that becomes an automatic process if they want to pursue it after our meeting today.
Way to go.
In that regard, can we still discuss a little bit?
Absolutely.
Very, very briefly. If they go in front of the planning commission and/or county commissions and get this cleaned up on that level, do those bodies have the right to put a restriction on it and allow them to only do it for 1 year at a time? Does this body some ways not have the power to put more restrictions on the use going forward than planning commission or county commissioners? I'm just asking that.
I can answer a little bit of that.
Yeah, whoever.
I'm going to defer, because I don't know that I know this.
As far as like if they put something in their master plan, they could put year-round auto sales, and they could commit to in the master plan, and that would stick with whether it's owned by Motorsports or it goes back to Dover or any other race entity. They could say year-round auto and auction sales limited to 6 events per year, and that could be in the master plan.
Okay.
That would be something that the county commission could enforce. Now, if it got out of hand and they went above and beyond that, it would be up to us to litigate that. And I think at that point, we would have, in the master plan, Mike would have something that he could defend.
Could the county commission allow them to do it for 1 year and have to come back in and get permission again?
I don't think so, because the master plan is going to go with the land.
If you wanted that type thing to occur, is they would probably list automotive sales as a listed use, and then the applicant would come here and say, I have a listed use.
Okay. I didn't want it to get to a process that it opened the door.
I'm not advertising for more business, I'm just saying.
Right, but I understand, right. Okay.
That,
I think you've answered my question. Thank you.
I'd say, yeah, if they listed automotive sales on their master plan and got that approved, they would probably not be here unless they tied it to an event amount, and then say there was a year that they needed extra events, they could come before this board and ask for forgiveness in the amount of events that they were allowed. But as far as like auto sales, if they get on their master plan, you probably won't see them.
Okay. Any other discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposition say no. The ayes have it. Thank everyone for coming. No. Okay. Our next case is case 4370. Is it shut? Like with an E. Shut the door. Got it. Shut Family Trust. Variance request for a 3-foot height variance. If approved, the proposed structure will be 25 feet in height. Property location is 2169 St. John Road, Lot 2B, CNS Construction. Map 162, parcel 21.20, zoned A1 agricultural, containing 5.11 acres. We get staff recommendations now on 4370.
Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance of 3 feet from the height requirement of 22 feet for accessory structures. Given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff cannot recommend approval of the height variance.
Before we start, where are we on the height variance?
It's been advertised. It's going to go before County Commission on their February agenda.
Okay.
And it's been advertised, yes, sir.
I knew the board would probably want to know, so. Okay, and like tell the board, sir.
Tim Shutt, 2169 St. Road. My wife and I just moved here about back in July and purchased this property. We're in the process of building a woodworking shop out to the back corner of our property there. We will stay in with the restricted areas on the to the property lines, and as stated, requesting a 3-foot variance. What we would like to do is the house has got quite pitched roofs, and we'd like to mimic that back on the shop. 12-foot sidewalls, and then the rest would be the trusses making up that 25 feet.
Okay. Does the board have questions for the applicant?
Obviously, looking at the map here, you're quite a ways off the road with your house and this accessory building.
That's correct. It's right a quarter mile.
A quarter mile off the public road. Okay.
You said something about matching the slope of the house?
Yeah, the pitch of the house, and we're going to try to match that up. So as you're driving up to the house, the shop will be off to the back. It is going to be a pole barn with tin siding and everything, but we're trying to mimic as much as we can with that, with the barn or the shop as we have with the house.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? And anyone else? There's no one else. You want to speak to this, Haskell? Okay. Well, you just don't want out there.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll close public comment in regard to 4370. And do I hear a motion, or do we need to have further discussion?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve 4370. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and second. Discussion?
Do we need to give any reasoning? Because we are going against staff's recommendation. I'm just asking.
I would not hurt. Never hurt.
Can I make an amendment for
Go ahead, right ahead.
reasoning, based on testimony given that it's a long ways off the road, several hundred feet, quarter mile, and based on he's trying to match the pitch of the house, so therefore he's got a lot taller building.
Okay. You okay with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And so we have a motion, seconded and amended. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. Okay. Now, last one, I have a direct conflict of interest, so I will let Mr. Neal, if he will please, chair the meeting for that request.
If I get a pay raise for doing this?
You get the same money I do.
That wasn't the answer I wanted. Okay, we'll try to.
And so let me move back, and I'll go to the other side of the bar.
All right. I will give you a second to get over there.
Well, at my age.
Yeah. I would assume I need to swear you in, correct?
That would be true.
Well, I'm,
I swear to tell the truth.
all right, that's good enough for me.
You also need to announce the alternate.
And Mr. Manning will be sitting in as our alternate on this. All right, we good? All right, we're on case 4371, Russell Thompson. Variance from sewer requirement, property location 3994 Murfreesboro Road, Lot 1, Russell Thompson. Zoning, I-1 lot industrial, acreage 7.12 acres. And we'll get staff recommendations on case 4370.
On the agenda, I do need to clarify that this is the tax map and parcel. The tax map is 114. On your agenda, it's listed as 144. That's just to clean that up.
It's corrected. I corrected it,
Okay.
I believe.
I've still got an old one, then I apologize.
Yes, I corrected it.
All right. Mr. Chair, the applicant is requesting a variance from the sewer requirement for commercial property. This would allow the property to develop with the septic or without septic, depending on the proposed use. Connecting to public sewer is required per commercial standards outlined in the Wilson County zoning ordinance. Therefore, staff cannot recommend approval of the septic variance. Staff will note that a similar septic variances have been granted in cases where the applicant can show that the existing septic system can adequately serve the proposed commercial business. A septic approval certificate was included in your packet. A site plan has been approved for this site, showing a warehouse-type structure on the property. The site plan was approved subject to waiving the commercial sewer requirement for the property. I am going to pass this down. Mr. Manning, this is the approved site plan that went before Planning Commission last month to kind of give you all an idea of what's being proposed on the site. It's a 12,000 square foot warehouse-style building.
So that one, it's 12,000 square
It's
foot.
the one that was approved for Planning Commission for the size of 12,000 square foot structure. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Thompson, what can you tell us?
Rusty Thompson, 1835 Holloway Road, Lebanon. Just a clarification, I think on the site plan that was noted as a 12,000 square foot building, that is a gross figure. Gross, the actual building envelope is somewhat less than that, maybe 100, 200 square feet, I'm not sure exactly. This property was originally granted a sewer variance some years ago. And the sewer was installed and certified by the state, and I believe that's in your packet. And I was looking for a date here, back in 21. So the septic system was installed and certified back almost 5 years ago. When we went through, prior to going through the Planning Commission, we subdivided the property for practical reasons. We were not aware at that time when we did so that Mr. Lawless would ask us to get an additional or reconfirmation of the sewer variance. So that's why we're here this morning asking for the sewer variance we already had to be reaffirmed or applied to this lot. I'd appreciate approval, and I'll answer any questions you have.
My first question, I guess, regarding the, and you'll have to help talk me through this, on the sewer approval that you have, shows a 1,000-gallon septic tank, I believe. Here's what I've got in front of me. I don't know, but anyway, it doesn't really say like it's perked for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom. What would be the, how, explain all that to us.
Commercial piece of this nature. The state, as I understand it, doesn't go by bedrooms.
Okay.
They go by the absorption rate based on the projected number of occupants. So in these type of small buildings, we normally have 1 or 2 half baths. Now, 1 would be sufficient, but a lot of times what we see is the tenant wants 2 half baths, because in case one's being utilized, the other one's available, or in case you have some folks working in the office that might not want to use the same toilet as the folks working out in the shop or in the warehouse or whatever it might be. So we normally install 2 half baths, and the state will say that that's 30 to 50 gallons a day, and they have a calculation they do, and that's how they come up with the number of field lines required.
And I do have something right here that says I just found it, that it is marked on here that it's commercial, and then it has a capacity of, I guess, 90 gallons a day. I just found that in my notes. I didn't have. So.
They'll normally assign a value, and a lot of times they'll go back and look at or ask us to go back and look at other small buildings of a similar nature in the area.
One more question regarding that, and I'll turn it over to whoever else. And you may not know this, but what would you propose? Like, how many people will? I understand there's 2 half baths or whatever. What will be the capacity of our employees or people that will actually be working in there?
We intentionally, from a private perspective, restrict who leases these buildings. We just don't go out and say, high bidder gets it, for a number of reasons. There are some uses that aren't appropriate out in the rural area of the county. You normally have folks that come and go from these type facilities, but we would not lease to someone who has, 30 employees. It just doesn't work, and we don't want things that won't work. So if you look back over not only our buildings that we have a couple out there already, but if you go to the water department, look at the usage of these type buildings, you're going to see that their actual gallons per day is in the 40, 50, 60 gallon range, unless somebody's out watering the yard. But as far as what the building uses, it's going to be in that range, because you have nowadays all the toilets are efficient. They use half a gallon or a gallon per flush, and then you have the sink, people washing their hands and whatnot, and that's all you have. So they just don't have a lot of water usage.
And I guess my concern or my question would be, obviously I have no doubt, you sell the building 5 years from now and somebody takes it over. I don't know, they've got however many employees they got, and maybe they need a kitchen, they have a snack room, kitchen, cafeteria. I guess, how does all of that work out? Or maybe how do we know one day there's not 50 people or 100 people with a snack room with a kitchen?
A snack room or a kitchen is not a big deal. What's a big deal is teenagers that shower. I'm just telling you,
and dirty clothes.
Dirty clothes.
I understand that.
Teenagers that shower. She can contest, my wife can attest to the fact that when we had teenagers at home, our water bill was, and other people know this too, it's out the roof. They leave and go to college, water bill goes to nothing. But it's because of the showers, because of the laundry, because of all these other things. The sinks and the toilets just don't generate that much. Now, if somebody wants to be, and I have no control over what somebody does when I'm dead and gone,
right.
But if somebody wants to be foolish, they can overload any system.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who put it in or where it is. If they want to be foolish enough, it can be a problem. And if they have to address it, it's got to be dealt with.
Anybody got any more questions or comments? Or
I'd just say that in the future that if somebody want to do something different, they want to come in there and build and add on and add a bedroom and add showers. I mean, that's going to come back before us anyway.
I don't see that type of...
If that happens,
but if they overload that system, people are going to know it, and it's going to get reported probably, and then they've got a problem.
Yeah.
It's to everyone involves advantage to see that the system is not taxed.
And I will say that I had Karen research a little bit, and as Christopher said in staff recommendations, we have a history in the past of granting several variances on these sewers. We've also not granted them, and sometimes we base that on what the use is. I know sometimes, and I think on some of those that I went back and researched, we said, well, if the use changes over what you know, some of them are construction lots or whatever, and we said, well, if that use changes, then there could potentially be more employees coming in, then you need to come back in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals. So that is my only small concern that I have is moving forward. At some point in time, there's no limit. Once we grant this, it stays with the property. Whether there's 5 people working there, 50 people working there.
Granted it once.
And you're
Here I am.
well, I think you made a subdivision of property, but anyway, but yeah.
To your point, the one that I recall that the board recently in the last year or two
Had a restaurant.
restaurant.
Yeah, exactly right. That is exactly right.
Now, putting a restaurant on a sewer system with or without a grease trap might,
Right.
that needs more work.
Right.
This is not that thing.
Right. Any more questions, comments from the board?
Is that a warehouse building as a warehouse, or, I can't tell, is that loading bays or?
Currently, that building is not planned to have loading bays. We have one that does. It's funny, we built one that didn't, and the first 2 or 3 people that walked in said, where's the loading dock?
Yeah.
And, well, we don't have one. So the next one we built, we put loading docks. And the first guy that came to look at it, looked at it and says, can you fill that dock space in with dirt and, make it go? So
Yeah.
this one does not have loading docks.
I don't know. I could make a comment about something that doesn't really go with this, but I probably ought to. I wonder, how does this property get to be zoned industrial without ever having public sewer? And not to go down a rabbit hole, but how does property get zoned to be commercial industrial?
We allow anybody that applies for the application to be commercial or industrial, that goes through planning commission and then county commission ultimately. We don't require the public sewer, like that is a requirement of commercial properties, but you don't have to prove that you're going to hook up to that until you go to develop it. And that is at the site plan phase. You can zone any property commercial with the speculation that it's going to develop commercial as long as you meet all the standards. This property doesn't have the ability to meet the commercial sewer standard. They've agreed to the facade requirements and landscaping and screening requirements.
You say that in this area, and I don't really know, Mr. Thompson, that there's going to be a public sewer line, city sewer line. Is it coming down that road, coming down that? Because I've heard that may be years away. I don't know. That's just speculation.
I'd say not in this decade. If I had to speculate, a public sewer being down 231 in the county.
And that takes me, and I'm getting off this issue right here for just a second, but, so we're doing a land use plan, and we're designating huge parts of the county that are gonna be commercial or their land use plan that have no access to sewer, yet we have a zoning ordinance. You can't develop that until you have public sewer. So it seems like we're, why don't we get into compliance? And I don't see how that meshes together going forward. That's not about this case, though.
Well, I mean, you that's twofolded there.
I understand that's a different issue, but
there is an access to public sewer. You're talking about traditional big pipe sanitary sewer, what you see in municipalities. The Water Authority, now granted they're under a self-imposed moratorium right now, they are an entity to offer public sewer, which...
How many of these variances that, like Mr. Thompson here, how many of them are we requesting to put in a step system? How often do we require that?
Well, you all don't require that. If an entity doesn't want to come before this board and they want to operate to put in a step system, they do that, and that meets the public sewer requirements for the site plan requirements. You wouldn't see that. All the Dollar Generals throughout the county, with the exception, I believe, of maybe one, they all have step systems that are operated by the Water Authority.
I think we're getting, maybe wandering too far, because the gentleman...
Yes, we're way off Mr. Thompson's case.
Has received this once, and I think it's kind of hard for us to say, okay, you received it once, but we're not going to let you have it again. So...
All right, I will, if we're through with discussion, I will entertain a motion on this case.
He's going to have to come back
for the second.
Yeah, he's going to have to come back for the second one. But I think we're getting...
Yes, I should have asked. Yes, anybody else in the public want to speak regarding this? Haskell?
Sure.
Sure, come on up there. Everybody else's ward out, you jump in. Yeah.
Haskell Evans, 5925 Franklin Road. I just wanted to add that, or to point out that Mr. Thompson is here asking for something that he already had up until a month ago. It's kind of unbelievable to think that it was approved once and not granted the second time, would not be granted the second time. So it just.
And my understanding is that it's because he subdivided the property that he lost it at. But I don't make the rules. I don't even interpret the rules. But that is my understanding.
That if that hadn't occurred,
he did have it. You're exactly correct. Thank you very much. All right. Any more discussion? If not, I'll open the floor for a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
I have a motion to approve, a second. Everyone in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Mr. Neal,
I think we are,
I'm not going to come back on that side because I'm lazy. Do we have anything else we need to talk
I do not at this time, no, sir.
about? We adjourn.